To this meeting of the Standing Committee on Social Development. My name is Caitlin Cleveland. I am the MLA for Cam Lake and I am the chair of this committee. And to start us off this evening, I would like to turn the floor over to members to introduce themselves, and I'll start with the member to my left.
Katrina Knockleby, MLA for Great Slave.
Lisa Semler, MLA Nuvik Twin Lakes.
Thank you. I'll turn the floor over to members who are joining us virtually, starting with MLA Bonnet Rouge.
Ron Bonnet Rouge, MLA Decho.
And MLA Jericon?
Richard Jericon, MLA for Community Willoughby.
Thank you very much, members. This evening committee had originally scheduled 3 clause-by-clause readings, but we'll be proceeding tonight with only 2. Do you want to mute that, please? Thank you. Committee has decided to postpone the clause-by-clause review of Bill 65, the Builders Lien Act, and intends to report that bill back to the House in August. I will now proceed with Bill 77. Standing Committee on Social Development is reviewing Bill 77, Nursing Professions Act. This bill is available on the Legislative Assembly website. Bill 77, Nursing Professions Act, received second reading in the Legislative Assembly on March 29, 2023, and was referred to the Standing Committee on Social Development for review. I will now invite the Honourable Julie Green, Minister of Health and Social Services, to deliver any opening remarks on Bill 77. Following the Minister's remarks, committee will proceed with a clause-by-clause review. Minister Green, please introduce yourself for the record and any staff that you have with you this evening, and then proceed with your opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm pleased to be here tonight to talk about Bill 77, the Nursing Profession Act. And with me today is Joanne Chiquetto, the Deputy Minister of Health and Social Services, Jennifer McGuire, the Assistant Director of Policy, Legislation and Intergovernmental Relations, Laura Jeffrey, Legislative Counsel, Jeremy Burke, Acting Senior Advisor to the DM, Heather Ruptash, Senior Policy Analyst, Jeannie Matheson, ADM of all the important stuff, and Liz King, my Special Advisor.
Thank you so much, Madam Minister, and I will, turn it.
I was so overwhelmed by the size. Okay, Madam Chair, the purpose of this bill is to repeal the current Nursing Profession Act and replace it with a new act that will establish a single regulatory framework for all nurses in the Northwest Territories. The bill proposes to repeal the Licensed Practical Nurses Act and transfer the authority to regulate licensed practical nurses from the Department of Health and Social Services to the Registered Nurses Association of the Northwest Territories and Nunavut. As I stated during the public hearing, the department worked closely with the Registered Nurses Association of the Northwest Territories and Nunavut on the development of this bill, and we will continue to work together to bring the bill into force. I would like to take this opportunity to thank committee members for the time and care they've taken in reviewing and responding to this bill, and I would be pleased to answer any questions members may have.
Thank you so much, Minister. Committee members, does anybody have any questions or comments at this time? Emily Semler.
A comment on the, I'm glad that this is finally happening, is that the LPNs are going to be included into this, and as a, in my previous career, it was always a struggle on trying to figure out what the scope and where the scope and dealing with the department on what they can and cannot do. And so this is going to make it nice and clear, and it's clear for the people in the Northwest Territories, and it gives them that, it gives that extra protection that we know that the services that we're providing in the Northwest Territories to our residents is under a professional body that's going to be overseeing, making sure the scope of practice and people are doing what they need to be doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emily Semler. Minister, I'll pass the floor back to yourself.
Thank you very much for your comments. It's been a long road, about 4 years. But I think that we've landed at a very good place because it's not just RNs, it's also registered psychiatric nurses, licensed practical nurses, and different classes of nurse prescribers as well. So it's comprehensive legislation for the whole profession.
Thank you very much, Minister. Members, does anybody else have any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, does the committee agree to proceed to a clause-by-clause review of Bill 77, Nursing Profession Act? Agreed. Thank you, committee. Where possible, I will call clauses in groups. Does committee agree? Excellent. Thank you, committee. Committee, we will defer the bill number and title until after consideration of the clauses. Please turn to page 1 of the bill. Clauses 1 to 10, does committee agree? Clauses 11 to 19, does committee agree? Emily Knockleby?
I move that Bill 77, Nursing Professions Act, paragraph 20, brackets 1, brackets T, be amended by striking out liability insurance and substituting liability insurance or protection.
Order to the motion. Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion is carried. MLA Semler?
I move that Bill 77, Nursing Professions Act, be amended by adding the following after paragraph 20, brackets 1, bracket Z, dot 19, brackets Z, dot 19, brackets 1, brackets, establishing the procedure to be followed in appeals of directions to pay the cost of on investigations.
Order to the motion. Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion is carried. Clauses 21 to 30, does committee agree? Clauses 31 to 40, does committee agree? Clauses 41 to 50, does committee agree? Clauses 51 to 55, does committee agree? MLA Semler?
I move that Bill 77, Nursing Professions Act, be amended by adding the following after subclause 56, brackets 5, brackets semicolon, brackets 5.1, brackets, a summary of a complaint provided under paragraph, brackets 2, brackets A, or brackets 5, brackets A, must include a statement advising the respondent of the right to receive a copy of the complaint under paragraph, brackets 2, brackets B, or brackets 5, brackets B, on request.
And is an order to the motion. Emily Semler?
Just, I know that we've come to this point here in this motion, and this is what we, I guess, are here now. And but my I guess my issue is that if there is a complaint against somebody and we're providing a summary, and in that summary we're saying that the person with the one that has the complaint against them can request the full complaint, this is just another extra step. And I just don't understand, I guess, if you can ask for the full complaint that's not redacted or anything like that, and why is this not, why it's not just provided in the first place. It's, like I said, it just seems like an unnecessary step when we can just ask for it anyway. So I know we've come to this point where this is the compromise and this is where we are, and you know, I'm not going to, I'll agree to disagree on it and move forward, but I just wanted to put that on the record that I don't understand. And I guess the discussions that we've had in public meetings and on this is, it is what it is now. And I mean, anyone can receive the complaint, the full complaint, but it has to be an additional request. So I just wanted it on the record there. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily Semler. Minister, would you like the opportunity to respond at this point?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll just briefly reiterate that the Nurses Association believes that complaints can often be wide-ranging and include information that is personal damaging and not on topic. And so they wanted to ensure that that kind of information wasn't shared. But like yourself, I understand this is the compromise, and we're fine with it.
Thank you so much, Madam Minister. We will take a short recess at this point, just for one quick moment. Thank you, members. Thank you so much, Madam Minister. To the motion? Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion is carried. Clauses 57 to 60, does committee agree? Clauses 61 to 66, does committee agree? Excellent. Emily Semler?
This is a long one. Okay, I move that Bill 77, Nursing Professions Act, be amended by adding the following clause after 67. Appeal of direction to pay cost of investigation, 67.1 brackets 1, before making a direction to pay the cost of an investigation under paragraph 67 brackets 3 brackets A. The committee shall, brackets A, invite the respondent to make a written submission within 15 days or within such longer period of time as the committee may specify, and brackets B, consider any written submission made under paragraph brackets A. But the committee is not required to hold a hearing. Brackets 2, where the committee makes a direction referred to subsection brackets 1, the committee shall without delay give the respondent brackets A a copy of the direction, brackets B, written reason for the direction, and bracket C, written notice of the right to appeal the direction under subsection brackets 3. Brackets 3, a respondent who is issued a direction referred to in subsection brackets 1 may, within 30 days after receiving a copy of the direction under paragraphs 2 brackets A, appeal the direction to a board of inquiry by submitting a written notice of appeal to the board of directors. Brackets 4, on receiving a written notice of appeal under subsection brackets 3, the board of directors shall, brackets A, if the complaint has been referred to a board of inquiry under paragraph 67 brackets 2 brackets E, refer the appeal to the board of the inquiry, or brackets B, if the complaint has not been referred to a board of inquiry under paragraph 67 brackets 2 brackets E, I establish a board of inquiry in accordance with section 71 to hear the appeal, and period, refer to the appeal to the board of inquiry. Brackets 5, A board of inquiry on hearing an appeal under subsection brackets 4 may make an order as to cost that it considers appropriate.
In order. Well done, Emily Summer, thank you. To the motion? Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion is carried. Clauses 68 to 69, does committee agree? MLA Knockleby?
Right. I move that the French version of Bill 77, Nursing Professions Act, be amended by deleting that portion of Clause 70 preceding paragraph brackets A and the heading immediately preceding Clause 70 and substituting the following, and I apologize to our Francophone community. Renvoi à une commission d'enquête. 70, le comité peut renvoyer la plainte. En totalité ou en partie à une commission d'enquête pour qu'elle tienne une audience si selon le cas.
The motion is ordered. To the motion? Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion is carried. Clauses 71 to 80, does committee agree? Clauses 81 to 90, does committee agree? Clauses 91 to 100, does committee agree? Clauses 101 to 110, does committee agree? Clauses 111 to 118, does committee agree? Emily Knockleby.
I move that Bill 77, Nursing Professions Act, be amended in the French version of subclause 119 brackets 3 by striking out qui n'est pas un médecin and substituting qui est un médecin.
The motion is in order. To the motion. Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion is carried. Clauses 120 to 125, does committee agree? Agree. Thank you very much, members. I'd like to turn it over to the minister. Minister, do you agree with all of the amendments to the clauses as amended by committee?
Madam Chair, I concur.
Thank you very much, Madam Minister. That is very much appreciated. We will now return to the bill number and title, Bill 77, Nursing Professions Act. Does committee agree? Agree. Does committee agree that Bill 77, Nursing Professions Act, is now ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole? Emily Knockleby.
I move that Bill 77, Nursing Professions Act, be reported to the Assembly as ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole.
Motion is in order. To the motion? Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion is carried. Bill 77, Nursing Professions Act, will be reported to the Assembly as ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Minister and her staff as well for joining us here this evening, and this concludes the public portion of the clause-by-clause review of Bill 77, Nursing Professions Act. Thank you very much. Good evening and welcome to this meeting of the Standing Committee on Social Development. My name is Caitlin Cleveland. I am the MLA for Cam Lake and the Chair of the Standing Committee on Social Development. I would like to give members who are present this evening the opportunity to introduce themselves, and I will start with the member to my left.
Thank you. I'm MLA Katrina Knockleby for Great Slave.
Lisa Semler, MLA Inuvik Twin Lakes.
Thank you, and I'll turn the floor over to members who are joining us online, starting with MLA Bonnet Rouge.
Ron Bonnet Rouge, Decho.
MLA Richard Jericon, doing the day Willoughby.
Thank you very much, members. This afternoon, the Standing Committee on Social Development is reviewing Bill 82, Legal Profession Act. This bill is available on the Legislative Assembly website. Bill 82, Legal Profession Act, received second reading in the Legislative Assembly on March 30th, 2023, and was referred to the Standing Committee on Social Development for review. Bill 82 repeals and replaces the Legal Profession Act. The current act does not reflect contemporary developments in the self-regulation of the legal profession across Canada, and as such, the Law Society established a review committee to examine these developments, and it came up with a series of recommendations in 2019. Bill 82 integrates these recommendations into a new act. Minor errors and inconsistencies are also addressed along with the use of gender-inclusive language. I will now invite the Honourable R.J. Simpson, Minister of Justice, to deliver any opening remarks on Bill 82, and following the Minister's remarks, Committee will proceed with a clause-by-clause review. So, Minister Simpson, I will turn the floor over to yourself, and please start with introductions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm joined by Christina Duffy, Director of Legislation Division with the Department of Justice. The purpose of Bill 82 is to repeal and replace the current Legal Profession Act, which was passed in 1976 and establishes the Law Society of the Northwest Territories as the body which regulates lawyers in the NWT. The Department has worked in collaboration with the Law Society to bring forward these amendments and appreciates the time and effort contributed by Law Society membership, both with their initial review of the existing Act and with reviewing and engagement on the drafting of the bill. This helped to ensure that we were able to bring forward a fulsome new act that will effectively regulate lawyers in the NWT. In 2018, a revision committee was established by the executive of the Law Society of the Northwest Territories to consult on and recommend changes to the Act, which had not been extensively reviewed since it was first enacted. The Act, as written, is prescriptive, with many issues governed by the Act rather than the rules of the Law Society. Similar legislation in comparable jurisdictions is often less prescriptive, allowing for greater flexibility in the rules and policies in their law societies. The proposed new act would address contemporary developments in the legal profession in a manner similar to other Canadian jurisdictions. In addition to addressing errors, inconsistencies, and improving the overall clarity of the Act, proposed changes to the Act generally address the following areas: the purposes and administration of the Society, membership and enrollment, the definition of the practice of law, discipline, the assurance fund, trust accounts and custodianship, and other relevant matters. This concludes my opening remarks, and I will be pleased to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. Committee members, does anyone have any questions for the Minister in regards to Bill 82? Emily Knockleby?
Thank you. Just more of a comment. I'm struck by, as I look through sort of my notes and things on this bill, that there was a lot of back and forth between the department and the Law Society. There were a lot of input from the Law Society in on this bill, and some recommendations taken and some not. And I guess I just wanted to say I appreciate that this was a really collaborative effort between the profession, it looks like to me, and the department. And I often have been struck over the last while, as I get to know more lawyers, the similarities between the law profession and the engineering profession, and a lot of what I see here does line up with how engineers would also sort of govern and self-govern their own profession. I guess the one piece that I think could maybe be a future part that hasn't been included would necessarily be around the paralegals and the students, and I recognize why that hasn't been included given our small population, and probably just there's really not often where that would apply, so maybe not really necessary, but I hope that down the line there would be the opportunities for the expansion of that sort of sector of this bill. But I think it's been really good work, and kudos to everybody involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emily Knockleby. Minister?
Thank you for those comments, and I'll say it's probably easier to collaborate when, you know, most of the members of the Law Society are the ones working on the bill itself, because they're all from the Department of Justice, so that greases the wheels a little bit, but thank you, I appreciate the comments.
Thank you very much, Minister. Members, are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, does committee agree to proceed to a clause-by-clause review of Bill 82 Legal Profession Act? Where possible, I will call clauses in groups. Does committee agree? Committee, we will defer the bill number and title until after consideration of the clauses. Please turn to page 10 of the bill. Clauses 1 to 10, does committee agree? Clauses 11 to 20, does committee agree? Clauses 21 to 30, does committee agree? Clauses 31 to 40, does committee agree? Clauses 41 to 50, does committee agree? Clauses 51 to 60, does committee agree? Clauses 61 to 70, does committee agree? Clauses 71 to 77, does committee agree? We will now return to the bill number and title, Bill 82, Legal Profession Act. Does committee agree? Excellent. Does the committee agree that Bill 82, Legal Profession Act is now ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole? MLA Knockleby.
I move that Bill 82, Legal Profession Act, be reported to the Assembly as ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole.
Thank you, Emily Knockleby. The motion is in order. To the motion. Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion is carried. Bill 82, Legal Profession Act, will be reported to the Assembly as ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole. I'd like to thank yourself, Minister, and Ms. Duffy for joining us here this evening. Members, this concludes the public portion of our meeting this evening. Is there a motion to go in camera? Thank you, Emily Knockleby, and thank you to members of the public who have joined us here this evening as well. Thank you.